Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with designated drinker and owner and team president of the DC Divas, Rich Daniel. So if you have missed anything of part 1, you need to go back, belly up to that bar and give it a listen first. We promise to save a seat right here for you. And there'll be no flags on this play, right, Gina?
Absolutely. You just keep throwing all this sports terminology at me like you go to the bars and watch the games on the weekend. I mean, do you? Do you?
We can pretend that I do today. How's that?
Yeah. I have to listen to somebody chanting about football in my ear all day long. Like, it's ridiculous. Do you think that these stats are going to... I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, honey.
I just like the fun terms.
I'm going to come to I'm going to go to DC Divas and sit with my kids and say, like, this is what we're going to watch.
There you go. Absolutely. So speaking of, Rich, in part 1, you shared your journey into owning a professional football team and some of your background. But before we go any further, will you please tell our listeners what the DC Divas are, just in case they missed it in part 1?
Absolutely. DC Divas are a kick-ass women's tackle football team, 18 and up in terms of age, all types of experiences. We've got players from around the world that come to play for us and go back home as part of an exchange program. We have women coaching in the NFL now from having played and having that experience of playing. Have over 600 alumni in our system that are, again, all over the country and all over the world doing all types of wonderful things after they've played. So we're a kick-ass football team that happens to be, I think, a terrific community organizer.
Yeah.
We do a lot of positive things that are every day, not just when we play a game. And to me, that's a powerful group that is really untapped, frankly, in the potential that we have to do really positive things.
I just think seeing women do something that, especially a woman of my age, we were told that we could never do it. It was never a possibility. And that I think that anytime you give anyone the insight of that things are possible, it opens your mind to so many other things that you were told you could never do. And I may never have never wanted to be a female football player, believe me. I never had any ambition to do so. But I did want to do,
But now you know you can.
Yes, exactly. And all the other things that I was told I couldn't do.
Francesca, she want to do it. My daughter.
Oh, yeah. So you said
I'm pretty sure she wants to kill somebody, so yeah.
Well, that's
She'll be a liability.
That's the other beautiful. No, that's not a liability. That's an all-pro. That's an all-pro, right? But the ability, allowing yourself to be physical.
Yeah.
As a young girl or as a young adult athlete, or even in the women's, most of the professional sports, it's not encouraged.
Yeah.
There's a foul, or there's you can't do that, or in lacrosse, all these that don't. Football is the one finally, and rugby is also another one, right?
Yeah,
I love
rugby. But football allows you to be that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean all of a sudden you're not a woman, you're not a girl. Of course you are.
Yeah.
That's just part of the expression of who you are.
Yeah.
And giving you finally a chance to be that or feel that. And then what that does after you've had that experience. Because again, you don't go back and tackle the boss in the hallway, right? But I guarantee you have a different manner perhaps of how you would interact with that person or the people in your business.
Absolutely.
Your confidence level or your ability, confrontation.
Yeah.
Right? We're immediate in our games. We're not saving it for later. You know what, we'll hug it up now and talk about it later. No, it's like very immediate and sometimes visceral and word choices, and it's not about your feelings, it's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the commonality of focusing on it, not your feelings. Although we care about your feelings too.
Yeah.
And how to manage, right? How to manage all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how to work through that and grow from that. And but it's a chance to let it go, and you can't really do that in many other things still. So it is unique.
Yeah.
And it does change you from having the experience, and it changes the people, I think, who watch it from seeing the experience of others doing it.
Yeah.
How can it not change the little boy who's watching his mom? It has to.
Yeah.
It has to give you a different perspective of what's possible.
You're right, because I immediately went, it's going to change your daughters in their perspective with it. But you're right. The little boy who goes to school with your daughters too has to see it.
Yes.
He too has to be able to see that, to understand it. And it's not just a woman's plight. It's a cultural shift.
100% that.
So you're right, 100%.
And by doing it in something, again, the non-traditional environment pushes the messaging forward farther than it is pushed in some other areas necessarily. Because it is unique, it is different, it is new. It's like, wait a minute, you can't. No, you can.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, when you're young, how many things you were told that don't even think about doing that?
Yeah, girls don't do
You
those
can't
things.
run that, girls don't do this, da, 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 on and on. Come on. And once you know better, you know better. But
Yeah.
until you do, you don't. And that goes back to the examples of, I know we have a positive effect on the next generation. I have no question about that. I want to mess up the current one in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Like the people who are further along in life and who like, women shouldn't do that. And that can be male or female.
Yeah.
That's not
No,
just males out
absolutely.
there going, I run into a lot of women who are like, what? And it can't get their head around that it either exists or that somebody would want to do it if it does exist.
Yeah.
Are you serious? I'm like, and of course, I don't play, so I have to be very serious about it. Because, they are serious about it.
Yeah.
And it is real. And it is growing every year. I mean, there's more teams, there's more women that want to play, there's more leagues, there's 30 countries internationally. It is not going backwards, it's only going forwards. And with flag being in the Olympics in 2028, you will see tens of thousands of young girls have a college scholarship in the next 5, 10 years. I'll say 5 or less, tens of thousands. You already have hundreds in junior colleges and NAIA, but when the NCAA adopts it, which they will, they'll be last, but they will finally get with it, right? You're talking thousands. And I don't think when I say tens of, I don't think I'm exaggerating.
All right, I'm gonna put a pin in this because you want to know why? You need a cocktail. I think this man
let's
deserves
do
a
it, let's
cocktail.
do it, let's
All of
do
this
it.
goodness.
Also, I'm just thinking, like, I finally found something for Francesca. All right, so this is a cocktail that is made a lot in advance. Like, you need advance notice on this one, right? So it takes a lot of training to learn how to make a cocktail like this. You have to know how to use ingredients. You gotta keep your head in the game. No, I'm just kidding. This is, and I love this cocktail because it has bananas in it and it's just delicious, right? So it's bananas, milk, a little bit of sugar, cooked down together. And then you take the half of the mixture and you put it with your rum and you let it infuse. So we are going to make the cocktail, which becomes the easy part, right? So we're gonna do 2 ounces of our infused banana rum. And then we're gonna take 2 ounces of our banana mix. I'm trying to get that big clump in there because you really want the juice. So when you have all those bananas, this drink is great frozen. I can't explain to you how good it is frozen. Okay, drop that in. And now we're gonna take 1 bar spoon, so a tea or a tablespoon of cream. And you're only putting it in there to froth it up. It's a great like after dinner drink. Again, frozen, right? Banana daiquiri, delicious. So good, like one of my favorite things. So I'm gonna get my trusty assistant in here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I saw you, here we go. You're gonna hit yourself in the face.
Oh, I've done it before.
I know, let me see.
It's cold.
I know, it is cold. Like, roll it. Yeah, you're good. You're
Okay.
good. You're good.
See, that's the part I can never do. All
That's
right.
1.
Did I get an
You
A
got
minus?
it. You got it.
Okay, good.
You did great. All right, so now you're gonna take your glasses and we're just going to double strain this into our cocktail glass. I'm gonna take an extra second and I need one of those cocktail spoons. Hi, let's go. I need a new strainer, I think, huh? Probably. Anyway, so you're gonna double strain this into your cocktail glass. And when it is all strained and settled, then you can drink it, right? I'm gonna finish it off with a little bit of cinnamon. Because it is the winter and cinnamon makes everything better. And no, this is not eggnog and there's no eggs in it. And it is a better version of it.
All right, Rich, what do you think of the cocktail?
To the eye, to the look, it looks delicious.
Get in
Does
there.
it not?
It does. It's
So
stunning.
So let's try it.
Yep, do it. It's a beautiful glass, too. I know that glass. What do you think about that?
Lovely aroma. That is lovely and tasty. I can see how any day, but in the fall, the winter, the cool time,
It's a starter.
yeah, very much so.
It's interesting to think about like bananas in your drinks during warm seasons or cold seasons. I mean, like, but it works. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Stunning. Just like you.
Cocktails were only served in the hours of 8 a.m. to noon. After that, you would have had tea, regular caffeinated drinks, tea, coffee, whatever. And then at 4 o'clock, you'd be served straight liquor or wine. There wasn't cocktails later.
What time of,
Where
what's
is
the
this?
era? Yeah.
When cocktails were coined, like late 1800s.
Wow.
So you have to remember, like, you know, Catholics and all that, like, you weren't supposed to drink, right? It was evil, evil, evil. Around 1847, 50, right? Somewhere in there, the word cocktail shows up on the scene, and they're morning pick-me-ups. So these were made with things like that. They were made with, you know, things you made for breakfast, bananas, whatever, and like you had like a little like you would drink this in the morning and leave your house and go to work.
Yeah, you'd pour that on your Cocoa Puffs and whatever, and just like, I mean,
If you
man.
lived in a city and you were civilized and you didn't work on a farm, right? You
Yeah.
like are civilized, you would have had this and then went to like the office or the
Yeah.
bank or wherever you worked.
Worked at the newspapers, you would have.
Yes,
and I-
newspaper.
Without question, without question, and just it's beautiful to look at from the top down because you have that little garnish and sprinkle that just breaks up the color to it, and then the banana is not overpowering at all, right? It's just
It's real.
It's complimentary, right? It's just very complimentary. It's just beautiful, the combination. I love it.
I like to call them gunnable. Like you just knock it back. But these
Yeah, I
are
can see shots of these.
yeah. But these are delicious frozen. Like
Yes.
you just make a whole vat of it, leave it frozen, good.
Nice. Ooh.
Yours is gonna be twice as strong. I'm gonna apologize now.
Don't apologize for that.
Yeah, but they're fun. Like these are I love banana.
Would you
crackers.
say that you would start with these and not a finisher? Like, could you have this
You
as
do-
like a?
you could just for dessert. If I was gonna just for so if I was gonna serve this on my menu, right? So this would for me would be a nice brunch cocktail.
Yeah.
Great brunch cocktail. And then if I was gonna change it to a night cocktail, I probably would garnish it with like some like cocoa nibs or like cacao or some kind of like just a chocolate component, just to bring it to that. Or not do it with rum and do it with cognac.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
So if you went like banana and cognac, it would be really nice.
That'd be a great finish.
Yeah, you have to switch
And
it over a
and
little.
Some nibs in there too, just for.
Yeah, the cocoa nibs. I love
Yes.
cocoa nibs. They're so good. I love them. I don't know what happened to them. They were on every dessert menu for a while, like in the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
like maybe
Well, that's probably what
2009.
happened. They were everywhere, and then everyone's like,
But
okay.
God, they're like such an excellent enhancer to like dessert.
Yeah.
Can I come back for that show?
Always.
I mean, yeah, that would be terrific though as a finisher, as a nighttime.
Do you serve alcohol at your games?
Depending on where we play. So the St. James allows that. At a high school, you can't. So it just depends on where we end up. But the St. James has full bar service, restaurant, a spa, if you're so inclined before the game. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the best.
Right? Where else can you go? I know, right?
all football
There's
games
a
have
water
that.
park. You go hit
Wow.
golf balls. There's ice skating rink. There's all these things inside the St. James. It's a pretty spectacular place in Springfield.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fucking spectacular.
All right,
Yes.
before I get in trouble by Alex,
Okay.
you gotta do your housekeeping.
You're gonna go to designateddrinker.show for tips, trips, how to, the recipes fully. I will give the recipe for the infusing one more time for the bananas. If you want to see it on Instagram, you can follow us at Designated Drinker, and you'll see me with my concoctions that I make.
And even I make guest stars every once in a while.
and once in a while, Louise will show up, shake something.
So up and shake, yeah.
She'll show up and shake. Sometimes she's, yeah, who knows? But DM
It's the highest
us.
rated part of the program.
Yeah. DM us, ask us questions. Like I feel like
Absolutely.
we don't have enough interaction. I see the people look, they scroll, they look at it, they play it again, we
And
see
you
all
know
that
they have to have
information.
questions.
Why can't you just hit like? I don't understand. Just like it. Like if you're gonna look at it that many times, just like it. Like how hard is the click? What do you gotta do for a click around here? Jesus.
Maybe a shake, Gina. Maybe
I
a
mean,
shake.
Jesus.
Shimmy.
It's amazing to me. Like, how can you have that many people watching your reels and your things and everything, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, you have 13 likes." 13. It got played over 100,000. Everybody hated it, but you went back and like screenshot it. Give me a break.
Oh, well.
Well, I'm giving 2 thumbs up. This is outstanding. It really is outstanding. And I can see how you can have that, again, beginning of the day, end of the day.
The next time that you're on the show, I'm going to make you make the cocktail because it's going to be fun.
Okay.
I feel like you would like it. You would, right?
Yeah, it would be a blast.
Yeah, I think I'm going to flip the script. I think we're going
I
to
can
have...
shake. I can stand in and shake if need be, right?
I think we should have our favorites come back and like do that. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Have them do the work and you just sit back and...
Well, no, more like just like have them do their own like bar thing. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do it too.
Her. Well, that's the whole point, really, of the show. So you can meet really interesting people, enjoy our boozy banter, and learn how to craft your own cocktails from a master.
Yeah.
So why not?
And
Absolutely.
what a great alternative to banana bread, right?
Yeah.
Bananas are like, make this instead.
Yeah.
The banana's like,
yeah.
I'm already brown, make me better.
Do you even know
brown.
how much banana bread we make in freeze when my kids don't want to eat the bananas and then like,
Yeah.
and then you sit there and I'm like, I'm throwing it out.
Oh no, drink it out.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
throw
I
it out.
have a new excuse now. Now I read the banana that you can give I have chickens. Your chickens can eat
nice.
bananas. So I was like, fuck yes. I hate banana bread. I hate making it. I hate the whole thing because I do it so much. I'm
Yes.
like, great.
Here we go again. But the
Yeah.
chickens love it.
They love it.
I didn't know chickens ate bananas.
See?
Well, they can't eat.
That's
they're good for
bananas.
them.
Again, that shit's
Your chicken,
bananas.
I'm telling you, I eat chicken eggs, and that comes out of their butt, and like at least I'm gonna put in what I want out of it. You know what I mean? Listen.
Well, it's good to know that's still the process.
Yeah,
That's
it's still coming out of your butt. They haven't protested yet.
Yeah, they haven't.
Hold
They
on,
haven't
it's coming.
AI'd the eggs.
It's coming. It's coming. The chickens are gonna
Exactly.
protest feeding us. They're gonna be like, oh, you know what? I feel discriminated against. I think that you're treating me poorly. My chickens can't say that. They have a beautiful little chicken coop.
She wallpapered the chicken coop.
Forget all that. They have like their own electricity. They can turn it on and off. They got everything.
So they're happy. They produce more. The eggs taste better. The whole thing,
100%.
right?
I truly believe that you are,
Yes.
if you ever so inclined to have like animals or a farm or any of this stuff, you have to take care of it. And if it's not for you, do not buy a farm. Don't do it. Because it's like, it is the closest thing that you have to like the earth. It is. And like, and feeding people and things like that. It's so much closer than just cooking something on, or something like that. It's like you physically are doing it.
You're the steward of all the things.
It's all the things.
Yeah, of all the things.
Touching the earth. I love
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's
yeah.
genuine.
Yeah.
Animals in the earth. I mean, what a beautiful four-legged friend we have.
Oh, a little Charlotte day.
Yes.
Yes, Charlotte is our mascot, basically. And if you've watched Gina make cocktails, you will see Charlotte's butt go through because she often makes her little debut. You see her tail go through. She's often, she's allowed to. She's a pretty good girl. So, speaking of evolving, I don't know how I'm going to make that's a bad segue. But tell us about, because we started talking about how you, before we stopped for the cocktail, you started talking about how you saw the sport evolving and going into flag football. And it's funny, is after we met and had lunch the other day, I kid you not, Gina, not more than 24 hours later, I'm texting him going, oh my God, I just saw a high school flag football commercial that had been produced by the NFL. And I didn't know it was a thing because I don't have kids, so why would I know? It'd be weird if I knew it was going on in high schools. So, but when I saw,
You read about it.
yeah, that restraining order. No, I'm kidding. I saw the spot and I thought it was really interesting to see that reaching that level, that age bracket. That's great.
So 2 ways I can think about that, or have thought about that, I should say, is the WNBA, the NBA decided, we have empty arenas. We want to grow the sport. What's some of the ways we can do that? And growing the women's game was absolutely a way to do that, right? And now 27 years later, you have teams that are starting to be profitable. You have a collective bargaining agreement where somebody can make a minimum salary of $175,000. They can make a living playing the sport. That took such a heavy lift from the NBA owners to do that. They had to be willing to give back, not just be willing to build a business. Like, it's not one or the other. You weren't just all of a sudden had a meeting one day. Let's help them.
Yeah.
Let's help ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Figure this out, and in turn, that was going to help, and it has helped untold amount of women. not just basketball players,
Sure.
but overall in sports in general. The NFL has not done that yet for women's tackle football. What they have started to do is they've done it for flag. So the teams are starting to invest $250,000, $500,000 to make sure that the high schools in that area start a flag football program. Varsity, you can win a varsity letter as a high school girl. And then now you have a path in junior colleges and NAIA colleges, not all of them, but some, to get a college scholarship, which is like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, that's like going to Mars, or some dream that you can imagine, but you can't see.
Yeah.
Well, if the NFL leans in, all of a sudden you can see it very clearly. And in a year from now, you'll have every NFL team, I think, will have invested something like that in all those markets, which will mean more and more will have that ability to play on the high school level, which in turn could provide the opportunity to have your education paid for in college, which I think is remarkable.
Yes.
Right? And then from
Absolutely.
a business side, let's go back because they did think about this.
Of course.
How do we grow our interest in sports? How do we grow when our tackle participation is lessening for young boys? How do we grow our sport? Well, you grow it for both men and women, boys and girls, not just for young boys. That's number one. And then what do you do? How do you do that? Well, it's easy to transport flag. It's not easy to transport tackle at all these different age ranges, right?
Yeah.
Adding another sport to the high schools and all those things. Flag, the fields are already there. The NFL will donate the balls and the flag. You know, it's the most affordable, easily transportable sport that there is, really. And so that speaks to this overall growth of just feeding back to, well, it may turn into a tackle football player. It may well not.
Yeah.
And that's all good. But that's the future, is flag, more participation from both genders, and then seeing how that plays out from career paths to, you know, just being a more fit individual because you
Yeah.
stayed active, you didn't stop.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And a lot of young girls stop in that age range of, 10 to 15.
Yep.
Right? All types of reasons for it. I'm sure you're familiar with those. But one of the big ones is you don't fit into the structures of the other teams. You're not one of the 12 on the basketball or 15. You're not on the AAU travel team. And suddenly you don't, for that one reason, you don't feel like you have the next thing and then you stop.
Well, when I was in high school, I figure skated and quit for all the wrong reasons. Or before that, I started when I was like 7. And then I played tennis. And I, all through high school, I was pretty committed to it. But I also knew there was nowhere to go with that. When I was going to go to a liberal arts college, I was going to school for art. I knew that, and sports aren't even a part of that space. But beyond that, even if I had considered it, even in tennis, you're like, so what are the chances of me going as a woman, as a young woman? I didn't see a path that I was going to get a scholarship. This is going to be my next life. I did not see a path. Now, do I think it was in the cards for me? No. Do I think I loved it at that level? And was I a player of that level? No. But I never even saw it anyway. So I wouldn't have even, I knew that I wasn't going to try. I was going to enjoy the sport for as long as I could.
Which that is okay. I believe that's where we all end up at some point in our life. If we can extend that.
Yeah.
So you don't decide that when you're 10.
No.
You decide that when you're 22. You go,
Yes.
you know what? I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a pro tennis player.
Yep.
But I've had all these experiences of trying to be and of playing and enjoying the travel, the meeting, all the wonderful things that come from participation.
Yep.
And then how that's going to relate to what you do in the next 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be a hell of a pickleball player. You're going to rule local, that's right. Or whatever it is, right? But you have that chance to not realize that so quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it's one thing when you realize it, it's another thing when somebody else extinguishes that for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's
Big difference.
Yep. 100%.
Big difference.
Do you think that's why Taylor Swift is now at the going to be going to the games now? Because she's just going to be part of the flag football, not really dating Travis Kelce?
I don't know if she's going to make a total switch to that. Fandom, though, she's definitely on board for being a fan.
Do you even know how many girls bought tickets? And I know this for even my kids' parents bought their kids' tickets because Taylor Swift is going to be at that Ravens stadium. Now they have they don't care that they're going to go see a playoff game.
That's right.
They don't care about any of the things. The chance they're going to see her face in a teeny tiny little box is they have to go. They're 10.
Makes sense.
And
there
name
will
a
be-
player.
'cause-
Name a player. I'm like, name one player. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't exactly. And that's part of the beauty of sport, that it can involve you in different ways than the most traditional way, which is I'm just focused on the game. How about the people? How about where it's played? How about what effect it had? I go all day about other things if you allow yourself or had experiences enough to be curious, really. It comes back to being curious.
Yeah, that's
Which
crazy.
is how I found the Divas. I was curious enough about women are playing tackle football. Who are they?
Yeah.
Who are they? And that's what drove to go see. And then see again and see again and see again and meet again and travel the world. I mean, I've been to Sweden and Finland and Canada at World Championships. We've never imagined that. Never imagined that, right? And it's all because of the belief, the respect and recognition. I've built that to a point where I cannot deny that I have that. And so if I have that, what do I do with it? Right now, I'm the owner and team president. That's what I do with it. I work on the partnerships for the league now. That's been a couple of months old, of trying to, again, form these league-wide, nationwide partnerships that can help move all of it, not just a team.
Wow.
But I would not have imagined telling this story. There's no way. Even when I was in it, I didn't imagine this day or these days. Nobody told me there'd be days like these.
Yeah.
Strange days indeed, pretty mama. Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's great. It's great. I mean, it just shows how what you put into it is actually what you got back.
Hard work.
Yeah, but then to see.
Yeah. So I'm not taping ankles anymore. We're not doing everything, which was under the general manager. I mean, you literally, whatever you could do to meet what you saw. Well, that's how that's my attitude.
Well, that's kind of how you run your restaurants, Gina.
You know,
Every day.
right? It's like what's your okay.
Yeah, I own Buffalo and Bergen in Washington, D.C. It's a bagel and bar. And I own 3 locations. Third one's coming. And then I own...
Alexandria?
Not yet.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, Rich.
And then I own Last Call Bar, which is by Union Market. It's like a late night spot. It's for fun. It's built for football.
Well, there's been a few last calls in our day.
So it's built...
And then are you sure it's last call?
Yeah.
There's been one of those.
I mean,
or two.
that bar is built for sports and fun, and it's not pretentious. It's not a decoration site. It's just a bar. It's just a bar. Yeah, it's crazy.
We
I love how
got
she
a
puts it.
team
She's so
poster
humble.
for you.
She's so humble. She's like the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Last call.
Yeah, it is like that's sweet.
Tremendous.
It's the bar. I mean, it's like the place that everyone goes.
You know, so even in the restaurant industry, okay, of women owning and operating restaurants, positions inside, front of the house, all that involvement.
Hi, I'll tell you right now. Yeah, I watched some of it right in front of my face.
It's still going. It's not like it's there. It's like it's still happening.
People call and they're like, or they meet me and they're like, "Is your husband here?" I'm like, "Who would that be?" I'm like, "Do you mean this guy that I'm with?" No, he's not the owner.
Yeah.
And I love my husband, but I'm like, don't do that to me. I hate that. Like, they always ask me where the man is.
Where's the man? Where's the manager?
I was like, what man? And I was like, and then Sylvia comes and she's like my head chef's another woman. I'm like, you want to talk to her? Which girl do you want to talk to? Which one do you like? She doesn't speak English that good, so you tell me.
So that's part of the journey too. Of our head coach is a former player and a Hall of Fame member. Our COO, former player, community relations director, a team vice president. Right. That is the natural order to me. Right.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with ownership, all of that. You know, how do we grow through that? It's not about, it's mine. It's not mine at all. You know, I just was in a position to respect and recognize what had been put into it by so many and decide that it was worth continuing to do whatever I could to support that.
Yeah.
You know, and here we are years later. We have grown. We've survived through COVID. The sports world around us, women's sports, is obviously changing in terms of its participation, its recognition, how it's supported. Right?
Yeah.
But we play the toughest one. No disrespect to rugby or anybody else, but for the belief system of, can women do this? And then if I can accept that you can do it, then I'm critical of how well you do it. And then I'm comparing it to collegiate and NFL, and that is a hard bar, but it's a real one. So for all the people that know about football, that's where their judgment or their viewership comes from initially. And for all the others, they're like, what? The ones that don't know or can't believe or have a hard time getting their head around, like, really? Women would do that? The bar's no less.
True.
Because you haven't seen it right? You don't believe it.
No,
you don't believe it.
Yeah.
When does the season kick off?
We kick off in April, May, June, July, Super Bowl, National Championships at the NFL Hall of Fame. July 27th, it'll be prime time this year on ESPN2.
Wow.
So again, 4th year of having a relationship with the NFL Hall of Fame. That took 20 years before that to get to the, right?
Who's your DC bar where you can go see them play? Like, who shows the game?
That's the Last Call, I heard. It's an excellent, it's a wonderful place to go see.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, Luz has done a little bit with women's sports now, which I appreciate that they've done. And then on the Virginia side, the Crystal City Sports Pub has been the longest active sponsor and involved with us, because that's where we used to go have Last Call in the early days, right? Where you could shut it down on the last call.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like that would be really fun to do, right? What a
Absolutely.
positive way to. That's really fun, actually. Yeah,
Amazing.
Rich. Yeah, we'll come down there and we'll see that. I could see that logo inside, and I bet you eat it. I bet you it would.
It would be great.
It'll be great. We did a lot with women's soccer and for DC team and one of their, I can't even think of her name, one of their got engaged at her bar. I can't even think of her name.
Well, you know, speaking of bars, so you heard about the sports bra out in Washington State, Portland, right? So it only shows women's sports. And it's not the sports bar; it's the sports bra. And I think she wants to franchise. Or will at some point potentially.
That's amazing.
But just her being like, I think it was almost 2 years ago now, just that story being out there has encouraged more people. You know, maybe on Wednesday night I could just a little bit more of, let me show some.
I got a lot of TVs. We can just change over the TV and play a
100%.
sound.
All right, come on. I've been in bars with Dave, and they'll be playing stupid cornhole.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, can we have a proper sport being played? Like, why wouldn't you show like a female football?
Because you didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
You didn't know you had an opportunity. And so that goes back to our education piece.
True.
So we can never go enough places. We can't talk about it enough. We can't wear it. We can't drive in it. Enough, it seems like. So every day is like we're leaving a lot. I feel like we're leaving a lot on the table that's undone.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we've made a lot of progress, you know? And so I have to do better at celebrating the milestones along the way versus the expectation is, well, yeah, we're supposed to keep that. We're supposed to go there. We're supposed to do those things. But yet, supposed to and get to are two different things. Yeah.
It's like should.
Right? It's like should, would and could, It's like, just make sure it happens.
We're gonna have to have a pre-season something at
Yeah.
Last Call.
Let's do it.
We're gonna do that.
All
Women's
right.
month. Wait, when does it kick off?
Games are April, May, June.
So
regular
Women's
season.
month.
March is Women's History Month, so
Yeah.
we should be doing a kickoff event in Women's History Month.
Yes.
That's
yes.
right around the corner.
Yes.
You better start planning now.
All right, I'm into that.
I think she just did.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. All right.
All right.
Last question?
Yeah, Alex is giving me the stink eye
All
over
right,
here.
Alex, I'm really sorry. So here's the last question. So you being around lots of women now, right? You know that we all identify with some kind of spirited animal or celestial body, and we all like really go with it. If you can identify one spirit ingredient for food or for beverage, what would that ingredient be, and why does it describe you?
Wow, what a great question. I should have listened to more episodes ahead to hear that question. Right? Prepare for that one, right? So one more time, what quality or spirit in me?
What ingredient used in cooking or in beverage is your spirit ingredient when it describes you?
Love.
Oh, I love that. I was not ready for that.
100%.
Sweet.
100%. There's love. Love in all those ingredients, love in the way you prepare it, love in the way that you serve, love in the way that you feel about how they receive it, love of what you're doing. You love creating it, right? So there's all of that interwoven at every moment of it. And then if you actually, the person like I did, you love what you were given to drink, how cool is that, right? So that's my ingredient thread is love.
I love this.
Uh-oh, I
Dying.
think
I know.
Rich made Gina cry.
I'm not ready for this today. Jesus, Rich. This is the top of 2024. I'm not ready.
Grit, damn it. So you gotta be grit in everything you do. That's right. You gotta grind and you gotta prepare and you gotta work hard. You gotta grit in everything you do.
Yes.
Resilience. You have to believe. So after love, I would say belief. Belief's what you're putting in it.
There you go.
Period. And actually, that's first, because love is something that comes after. You have to have, if you don't, I think that's a 1 and 1A.
Do you do coaching for life coaches? You should.
Well, on that note,
Never say never.
thank you so much for spending your time with us,
Cheers.
Cheers.
enlightening us all on the beauty of DC Divas.
Thank you very much.
The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a Latino-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, we craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Roger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, please don't forget to follow, download, and review the shows. Your reviews help our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.